Thưa quý khán giả của Viet News USA, sống ở Hoa Kỳ, nơi được mệnh danh là thiên đàng trên đất, với sự kết hợp của các giống dân cùng chung sống và chia sẻ các ngôn ngữ, văn hóa, đem lại một sự kết hợp hùng mạnh khó có đất nước nào có thể sánh bằng. Tìm hiểu thêm về các cộng đồng bạn qua những con người thật, việc thật, cũng sẽ giúp chúng ta biết thêm được nhiều cái hay, cái quý đáng học hỏi. Chương trình song ngữ, cuộc sống quanh ta, với các khách mời là những doanh nhân, nghệ sĩ, thương gia, chính trị gia, sẽ đem đến cho chúng ta nhiều bất ngờ thú vị. Chương trình được sử dụng với hai ngôn ngữ tiếng Anh và tiếng Việt, và với sự điều phối thật linh động lưu loát của cô hướng dẫn chương trình xinh đẹp và tài giỏi của tiểu bang Arizona, Tiffany Mộng Tuyệt, sẽ giúp các bạn trẻ thêm sự gần gũi với cộng đồng Việt Nam và cũng như những người khán giả của Viet News USA biết thêm được nhiều thông tin cuộc sống xung quanh ta. Trọng Phúc chào đón quý khán giả đến với chương trình của Viet News USA, một chương trình thiết thực cho mọi gia đình. Cảm ơn quý khán giả đã luôn ủng hộ các chương trình của Viet News USA và đặc biệt là chương trình song ngữ cuộc sống quanh ta. Chương trình nằm nối kết các thế hệ với nhau bằng một chương trình song ngữ. Ngoài ra, chương trình còn tạo điều kiện để chúng ta cùng tìm hiểu về những cộng đồng bạn, những văn hóa, phong tục, tập quán, cùng những thành công, những gương tốt để chúng ta cùng thêm sự hiểu biết và cùng hòa nhập trong cuộc sống tại Hợp Trung Quốc Hoa Kỳ.
Well, hey everyone, welcome back to our program. My name is Tiffany, and this program is produced by Viet News USA. Our producer, of course, is David. And today he has invited someone that specializes in something that I have no knowledge about. So hopefully you and I will be learning a whole lot about what this gentleman here specializes in. His name is Tuan in Vietnamese as well as English. So Tuan doesn't have an American name, although he's been here for a while. He actually lived in Vietnam for about 10 years before he came here, and he specializes in mixed martial arts, abbreviated MMA. So welcome to the show, Tuan.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
Of course. So like I said, I know nothing about mixed martial arts, and you're here to tell me and our audience what it's all about. Really interesting fact though that I don't think I know many Vietnamese who specializes in them in this kind of sports or make this their career. So my first question for you is, why mixed martial arts?
So a short story with mixed martial arts is, so back in the day, they used to have individual martial arts. So there could be karate, there could be kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and they would only compete with each other in their own martial arts. So a karate fighter would fight kickboxer, a boxer could fight a jiu-jitsu guy. So the history behind mixed martial arts is Bruce Lee, when he first was coming up, he decided to mix all of the arts together, and he called it Jeet Kune Do. And back in the day, people didn't do that, because if you're a karate fighter, you don't want to do another martial arts. Like, they hated that back in the day. But now we're in a different age, so a lot of kids like me growing up doing MMA, there are classes to teach you different martial arts, and then we could take that and make it our own style to go into competition.
Okay. Well, kính thưa quý vị, hôm nay thì chúng ta có mặt của em Tuấn An. Em theo đuổi một cái ngành nghề, một cái môn thể thao mà từ xưa đến giờ thì mọi người cũng không có biết nhiều lắm. Đó là MMA, Mixed Martial Arts, tiếng Việt có thể gọi nôm na là võ tổng hợp. Thì em có vừa mới kể đó là một cái bộ môn do Bruce Lee là cái người mà có thể gọi là sáng tạo ra cái bộ môn này, khi mà một cái người mà họ chuyên về MMA, họ có quyền sử dụng tất cả các loại mà đánh võ, karate, jiu-jitsu vân ở trong cái cuộc thi đấu MMA này. So for you personally, which style do you specialize in?
So my approach is I take all of the styles from all different martial arts, and I make it into my own style. So whatever the highest percentage moves is, I just adopt it into my style, and I just make my own style. So I'm good at everything.
So what kind of training do you have to go through up until this point?
A lot of training, because everything, if you want to be great at something, it takes a lot of time and dedication. And if you just want to be just good, then you just don't need to do it as much, right? So I take this career very serious, and I've been doing it since I was 14 years old.
Okay. So you learn karate, you learn all types of martial arts.
Yes.
Okay.
And then whatever I like, I just make it into my own style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you give your style a name yet?
No, the name of my style is No Style. That's what
No
Bruce Lee said.
style. Oh, I mean, if you're a Buddhist, that could mean a lot. I mean, it could means like vô sắc vân vân. So it doesn't make your opponent harder to understand and predict your move. Is that one of the strategy?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So I understand that your ranking is relatively impressive. Tell us about that.
So right now I'm currently #1 in Arizona.
#1 in Arizona.
And I think I'm the first Vietnamese fighter from Arizona that has a #1 ranking. I'm undefeated in my MMA career so far. Amateur, I'm 7-0, and professional, I'm 6-0 now.
Oh wow. And so looking at you, you're not the tallest guy, but does it matter if you are tallest or biggest? What matters in your sports?
It doesn't really matter. The important thing is you gotta know how to use it. So if I'm short and the other guy's long and he doesn't know how to keep his distance, which is if I don't let him get close to me, he can't hit me. So I dictate the fight. If I want him to hit me, I'll let him come in so I can hit him before he could hit me, or I could take him down, or do whatever I want. But the fight bases on your IQ, is your brain and your skill levels.
Wow, okay. Chúng ta vừa mới được biết là em hiện nay đứng hạng nhất tại tiểu bang Arizona ở trong cái nhóm những người mà đánh võ tổng hợp mà chuyên nghiệp, kính thưa quý vị. So who are the other folks that you usually compete with? What backgrounds or ethnicity?
So a lot of people my age that I compete with, there's different path that these people take, and but mostly they know a little bit of everything, but there are levels to it, right? So like everyone know how to drive a car, but you can't drive a NASCAR tournament, right? So that's where the levels are. So like I consider myself very high level, and when I go fight these people, it seems like on paper they are high level as me, but at the end of the day, that's what fighting is for, right? It gives you an opportunity to showcase your skill level versus your opponent, and I haven't lost so far.
So, do you study your opponents?
Yes, I study my opponent, but the first thing I do is I study my own fights. Before I study my own opponent, I study my own fights, so I could think of how to beat myself, because that's what he's gonna think of how to beat me. And then after I know that what he's thinking, now I could watch his tape and see how I could win over him.
Wow, that's impressive. That's a fresh way of looking at the problem, right? So very impressive. Now, what did your parents say about your career of choice here?
First I didn't like it, but growing up in an Asian household, all of my cousins, they follow their parents, and whatever their parents want, they always do. But at the end of the day, that's not who I am. And I've never liked authorities. Like people would I respect my parents, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna do whatever that I want to do, right? And that's mixed martial arts. And growing up, they didn't really like it.
Yeah.
And but now I've taken it very serious, and I'm coming a long way. So now everyone supports me.
Okay. And you've lived in Chandler. You are living in Chandler, so you're a citizen of Arizona. Yes. You've been here for a while.
Yes.
Okay. So should be very proud. We do have someone who is very, very good at what he does as far as career choice. And then so I assume that nowadays your parents go with you on competitions. Can they stand looking at you fighting and sometimes get hit?
My mom can't. Yeah. So I remember my last fight. I was fighting, and I could hear her yelling from the crowd.
Oh wow.
And I just at like moments like that, it's all mental. Like, right? If I was weak mentally, I would let my opponent get the best of me, but I didn't do that. I listen very, very good, but I could also control what I'm doing at the same time. And yeah, my parents, they always get scared when I go fight.
Aw,
Yeah.
but they
They support
they're
me.
okay now. Okay, very good. I know that in the Vietnamese, at least boxing world, there's Mr. Kung, right? Are you aware of him? He retires sometimes.
Kung Lei.
Yeah. Do you look up to him? Do you study him?
I study a lot of people that if they have a style that I like, I just take what they're good at and I make it my own. And growing up, I watched a lot of his fights, and I'm a big fan of him. Yeah, so I do study him, and I'm a big fan.
Okay. So I understand you said that you trained a lot. So you certainly had a foundation. Tell us about this training. Are you talking about like 5 hours a day, 8 hours a day, or what's the time that you spend on training yourself?
So I have a schedule of training, and different days are different training. But I try to, I design my own training. Like at first, I was doing my coach's schedule, but then as I'm doing this on my own, I figure out there's a different way I could do it to add my own knowledge in the game, and to make it work better for me. It's Monday we'll do strength and conditioning. I wake up right away, 9 a.m. I wake up, I go lift weights. It could be lower body, it could be upper body, or it could be a functional training. And after that, I give my body some time to rest, and then at 3 p.m. I go to the MMA lab, which is the gym that I train at. And on Monday we do striking. So kickboxing, I have my coach Randy runs the class. Well, I don't have him run the class, but he runs the class for us. And after that, I do jiu-jitsu to balance out everything. You know, striking, strength and conditioning, grappling. So it's a game mixed with everything. So you gotta be good at everything. And every other day is kind of the same.
Okay, so it's a lot of training, a lot of just hard work put into it, and
Yes.
and from the sound of it, you have to prepare yourself mentally as well. In situations, you have to spend time studying your opponents and so on. So I think I have a newfound respect for this. I would say MMA, because when you look from afar, you're like, okay, it's other people fighting. What other misconceptions do people have about the sport?
From the outside looking in, I would say it's very violent, which it is. It's very violent, because violent at the end of the day, violent is what make the world go around, right? But the other side that people don't see is the psychological and the strategics that MMA fighters like myself use and my coaches use. So I would say it's like, for me now, it's kind of like playing a video game or like playing chess.
Okay, very cool. Now you are undefeated but certainly you face challenges.
Yes.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
A couple of my fights I've injured. I have injuries that I went into the fight with, and nobody knows except for me and my team. And I have to figure out a way to win the fight with injuries. So it takes a lot of mental strength to just telling yourself that you're gonna be okay, even though it's not. But that's how you get mentally stronger. You just go do what you don't like to do, and that's what I try to do every single day.
Okay, so certainly you can get hurt, and
Definitely.
going into this, but you are still pursuing it.
Yes. Because in life, if you do something that is not difficult, the reward is not as big. So the higher the risk, the more money you get. Everything just seems to be better. And it's not even about the money for me. It's that I feel like this is God's gift to me, and I don't want to waste my life working a 9 to 5 just to do what I want to do. I just want to do what I like to do, what I love to do, to honor my family, to honor God, and to take care of my family at the end of the day.
Wow. Okay. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. And have you competed in other states as well, Tuan?
Yes, I have. I've competed in a lot of other states. I just don't remember. Like, I have 6 professional fights, and out of those 6, I think 3 are in different states. And I prefer just fighting at home just because of the traveling, and then you gotta cut weight and all of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then, what is the progression for MMA? I know that you're undefeated here. It sounds like sometimes you travel to other states to compete. But what are the levels that you can get to, especially the highest level?
So at the highest level, the organization is called the UFC. It stands for the Ultimate Fighting Championships. So the UFC, they have people travel around the world to search for talents like myself, and they bring all these people around the world together in the UFC organization to fight each other to see who's the best fighter, right? And the outcome would be, if you're very good and you're dedicated, everything you have in life, and you make all the sacrifices, you will become a champion. And when you're a champion, you could do a bunch of different things. Like a lot of UFC champions are, millionaires, billionaire. Conor McGregor's a billionaire. He knows a lot of people. He just did a movie, so you could use your your platform to do other things.
What do you have in mind for yourself? I know right now you're targeted the UFC.
Right.
Whoa.
So my plan is, I'm gonna dedicate my whole life into my first gift that God gives me first. I'm gonna become a UFC champion first, and then outside of fighting, I'm gonna have businesses, and I'm looking to get into real estate and different businesses to make money. I don't want to work for my money. I want to use my money to work for me.
Oh, yeah, that's a smart way of doing it. Now, UFC certainly sounds like it's gonna be work. So have you been identified as by the UFC, or how are you working towards them recognizing you?
So I have a management. It's called Iridium Sports Agency, and me and my manager, we have talks here and there, and we figure out a plan on how to get into the UFC. And it's very easy because the matchmaker is his very good friend. Sean Shelby is very good friend with my manager. So all I have to do is just win the next fight, and I'm in the UFC.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then once in the UFC, you're gonna fight how many fights before you get somewhere?
Once you're in the UFC, you're pretty much a very big figure, and the more you fight, the more influence you have, and the bigger followings you have, and people around the world, all around the world. So MMA is a new sport, but it's growing very quick and very rapidly. Like people, if you don't watch MMA now, you're just like, you live under a rock or something, But usually about like 10, 15 fights, but it's like, before you even get to the title, you got to get through all of these fighters that are just as good as you. So I think about the future, but I also think about the now.
For people who wins a championship, what is that? How long is that journey for them?
Everyone's journey is different, Some people might have a faster path. Some people might have setbacks, but at the end of the day, it's not about it's not about the winning the championship. It's about who you become. And even though if you hold the championship belt and it doesn't belong to you, that means that if your character is not right, a younger lion might come up and snatch it from you. So usually it's like, I don't know, everyone's different. You can't put a time on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you put a timeline for yourself?
My plan is I'm gonna do it until I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can be very persistent about it.
Yeah.
Very good. What does MMA mean to you beyond the competitions?
Beyond the competition, So martial arts for me is a lifestyle,
Mm.
and I really enjoy it just because it's so simple, and it make a character out of me. That means that when I go into training, like the first day, let's say if you go into training, the first day you're gonna lose a lot, right? You're gonna lose, and people are gonna like win over you, and it's how you handle the loss that is gonna take you to the next level. If you don't know how to take a loss, then you're not gonna get anywhere in life, and that goes anywhere in life, right? That's why I love martial arts so much. It's because it teaches me a lot about life, and I feel like even if MMA doesn't work out for me, everything that I've learned through martial arts, I could take it somewhere else and be successful.
And I think that we've realized that that's the case with martial arts. It's beyond just a fight and so on. It's also building characters and building good characters.
Yes.
A lot of good characters that comes with it. So my next question is, when you go in a competition, what does that day or that week look like for you? For all of us from the outside looking in, we have no idea, but I'm certainly behind the scenes, there's a lot that you had to worry about.
Yeah, there's a lot to it,
Mm-hmm.
but I try to keep it as simple as possible.
Okay.
So for me, like whenever I go into a fight, it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter who you are, everyone feels fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that day is very stressful if you make it stressful.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I just focus on what I can control and not what I can't control, because whatever I can't control, I can't really control it. The only thing I can control is my mindset and my attitudes about the day. And there's a lot of media stuff and it's just a lot of stress, but I try my best to keep a level-minded.
Okay. And as part of, are you in a sort of like a program where you actually have to show up for the press, or it's a very interesting aspect of what you do as well.
Yeah, so the other aspect of being an MMA fighter is the entertainment. The entertainment side of it. So a lot of UFC fighters, they like to make a character to get attention from the fans, but for me, I feel like I just gotta be myself. I feel like the person that I am right now, I'm very proud of, and if people find inspiration from me and my mindset, then go ahead, And for me, I just try to stay true to myself, And the press is another aspect of fighting, and I just try to stay in the present, listen, and do the best I can. Yeah.
Perfect. What do you eat on those days? Do you eat anything, first of all?
Yeah. So the days leading up to the fights, I eat a pretty good amount of food. It's very healthy, very healthy food. Just a bunch of micronutrients, which is like you get from plants. So and I get proteins too, but not too much protein to where I could build muscle or like to produce fat. So I have a nutritionist that gives me a recipe for what I can and can't eat, and I just go to the grocery store and I just shop for groceries and just make it myself.
Oh wow! So it's actually part of your work as well.
Yes.
You actually have to be in your best, I guess, physicality. So
Yes.
if people want to get fit like you, what are some of the best food that they can feed themselves?
I would say eat more nutrient-dense food
Okay.
in a smaller portion.
Such as?
Such as let's say for lunch, if I want to lose weight, I could get some spinach, red bell peppers, anything that's whole grown food coming from the earth. That's why it has a lot of nutrients. If you go eat McDonald's, you're gonna feel full for like 30 minutes, and then you're gonna want another one.
Right.
So when you eat really healthy food that comes from the planet, you get all the nutrients, and you don't feel hungry as much.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good advice. Make sure to follow that, especially if you're in a mood or in the need of a diet. Just kidding. And then it's a day thing. It's a full day event, or is it a multi-day event?
It's just one day.
One day.
Yeah.
Okay, you show up to say like a gym or a lap or however you.
So there's a venue. So
A venue.
A venue.
Okay.
Yeah. So my last fight was at was at the Arizona Federal Theater, which is
wow.
which is the one in downtown Phoenix. It was a very big place, very big theater.
Mm-hmm.
There was like probably a couple hundred people there.
That sounds fancy still, and a lot of where can we get these tickets? Is it like through some websites, MMA websites, or?
So the website is called LFA.com.
LFA.com.
LFA.com, but since I don't have a fight, I don't have like the ticket link.
Mm-hmm.
It's for to give to people to buy tickets.
Yeah.
So whenever I have a fight, I will let you guys know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We would love to show up and cheer for you, Tuan. I mean, this is very interesting. So what are your other interests outside of boxing? I know it sounds like you spend most of your days and nights with, sorry, not boxing, MMA.
MMA. I read a lot. I read a lot about personal development. I'm very into being the best version of myself, you know. I watch TV shows here and there, but it's just like, I feel like I'm wasting my time, you know, and right now in my 20s I feel like it's the important thing, you know, like a lot of people my age, like a lot of friends that I have, they just party all the time, and, you know, they don't think about their 30s or their 40s, and, you know, by the time they think about it, now they gotta work really, really hard, you know. So for me now, my plan is like, I just wanna sacrifice my 20s and even mid 30s to just grind, you know, and just focus on my career and see how far I could take it, so that when I do make it, I could take care of my family. And I have some family back home too that I would like to, you know, if they want, I would like to help them bring the family over here for like a better future, like my dad did for me and my mom.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a vision, or is it in your plan to say like provide coaching or mentoring, especially in the MMA world here for say like future Vietnamese fighters?
So
is that something even, you know, should be considered?
So yeah, I do think about it sometimes, and I do think when I make it, I would build a gym, and I would travel, back home and find, you know, kids that are like me, you know, that has the potential to be something in life, and I want to help them, you know. I want to help bring them to my gym and provide everything for them to see how far they can make it to help their family, you know.
Got it. What's your favorite book?
I'm very into law of attractions, and I believe that everything that you think, you become. As you think, you become, right? So for me, I just work on my inner self. A lot of people work on their outer self and they look beautiful on the outer self, but the inside person is not as beautiful. And for me, it's the opposite. I like to work on the inside. So as the inside, as inside out, right? So if you're shining from the inside, everything on the outside shine. You know, if you're a great person on the inside, and you always want the best for people, and you're just true to yourself, everything will come to you.
Now, do you have this kind of conversations with your parents? Because I think they would be very proud of you hearing this.
Not really. I don't think I have a great relationship with my parents. Like I'm an Asian kid, so it's like my dad never said like, "Hey, I'm proud of you," or you know. But I know he is very proud of me because of the person I've become. I'm very proud of myself, you know. Like at the end of the day, and that's why I thrive to do. Just be proud of myself, and you know, if I could inspire other people, then so be it. But I just want to become the best version of myself.
Oh, that's lovely. And again, you're another interview that I feel very inspired by, Tuan. So a lot to learn from you as well. So thanks for sharing. If you had to share words of wisdoms to the youngsters who are watching the show, what would be like 1 or 2 pointers that you'd like to share with them?
I would say, you know, if you're at my position, or if you have a passion, you know, go for it. Don't let other people stop you, you know, because at the end of the day, the people closest to you are the one that, you know, don't support you, but don't let it get to you, you know. Always follow your plan, always believe in God, have God on your side, and you just continue doing it, and you're gonna make it.
Beautiful words. Well, it's been a pleasure. Really good to have you here, and we look forward to the day when you're going to be the UFC champions for sure.
Thank you so much.
And then do let us share with us the links to your fights, so if we can purchase tickets and so on. We'll definitely keep you posted, Viet News USA audience. If there's a fight that he's doing here in Arizona, definitely we'll share so that you can be there if you like. So.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks again for your time, and until next time, have a good night.
Mời quý đồng hương hãy đến với nhà hàng Mekong Palace. Nhà hàng được bình chọn The Best Điểm Sống in Arizona với những món điểm sống ngon được mọi người mến chuộng như xíu mại, há cảo tôm hấp, chân gà nấu tương đen, bánh cuốn, bánh bao xá xíu, xôi hấp lá sen, vân vân. Ngoài ra, nhà hàng còn nhận đặt tiệc, catering tận nhà hoặc venue cưới. Nhà hàng Mekong Palace mở cửa từ thứ Hai đến thứ Sáu, từ 11 giờ sáng đến 9 giờ tối, điểm sống từ 11 giờ sáng đến 3 giờ chiều. Thứ Bảy và Chủ nhật, từ 10 giờ sáng đến 9 giờ tối, điểm sống từ 10 giờ sáng đến 3 giờ chiều. Nhà hàng Mekong Palace tọa lạc tại 66 South Dobson Road, phòng 120, Mesa, Arizona 85202. Điện thoại 480 962 0493 480 962 0493. Cảm ơn quý khán giả đã theo dõi chương trình Song ngữ Cuộc sống quanh ta với Tiffany Mộng Tuyền và khách mời. Chương trình phát hình vào mỗi tối thứ Hai hàng tuần trong khung giờ quen thuộc là 7 giờ PM giờ Arizona trên channel Viet News USA. Mọi đóng góp ý kiến cũng như tham gia chương trình, vui lòng liên lạc với chúng tôi qua số điện thoại 602 481 2647 hoặc theo địa chỉ email info.vietnewsusa@gmail.com. Chân thành cảm ơn. Chúc quý khán giả có một ngày thật là vui bên gia đình và người thân. Hẹn gặp lại quý khán giả trong chương trình tới. Và đừng quên bấm nút like, nút chuông để luôn theo dõi cũng như chia sẻ các chương trình của Viet News đến với mọi người. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.